Okay, so as designers, we have a tool called Empathy Map that is used for understanding users and personas. When we are designing, we need to understand who we are designing for. And the best way to design for somebody is to know what that person is like, what they think, what they hear, what they do. And Empathy Map is a visual framework to capture all of that. It also helps in terms of understanding that person, their day in the life, what they go through at different points in their life when using certain products or when using certain services. It also helps in terms of we getting to know the situation from the user's point of view rather than as a designer. So Empathy Map is a visual framework for designer, but what I want to put forward today is that Empathy Map can also be used for um, relationship building or understanding our relationships better, right? And these relationships are first one with ourselves and second with others, right? And when I say others, it can be our family, friends, okay? And I'm categorizing friends as neighbors, community, and all that thing. And then my professional or work related relationships, right? So just like we use Empathy Map for understanding the users of our product or services, we use Empathy Map to understand all these different people, starting with ourselves. Unless we are able to know ourselves better, self-awareness, we will not be able to build good relationships with others. So the first thing is have a real good relationship with ourselves and then with others. Okay. So how do we do that? Uh, Empathy Map goes like this. Folks who are designers over here or product managers over here would probably know what it looks like. But for others, I'll just place it over here. I start with drawing a square, drawing a face in between, and then cut down the square into two parts and then write down whom I am creating empathy map for. So let's say this is for Kumar, and then break down this square into four parts like that. Over here, I'll say what I say or what the other person says. What do they think? What do they do? What do they feel? All right. So these are four parts in which we'll capture this. So normally when creating empathy map, before empathy map, user research is done, which is understanding capturing the day in the life of user, interviewing them, observing them, and then capturing all the observations. And from the observations, we start filling up this empathy map. But when we are doing it for ourselves, we already, if we know ourselves already in a better way, it is easier. So what we can do is we create empathy map with respect to certain thing. So if I want, over here it is about relationship, right? So when it comes to relationship, what do I say? What is that I tell others, or what do I tell to myself is what we'll capture over here, right? These are the actual quotes, the actual words that I use. If we don't come up with sentences, we just capture words. And this means that I'm constantly observant about my thoughts and my speech when I'm talking to myself or when I'm talking to others. Okay. So that also develops a good skill in terms of self-observation and self-awareness. So over here, I capture what do I say in terms of words or sentence. In this quadrant, I capture what do I think or what are my thoughts Okay, are they positive? Are they negative? Um, am I appreciating somebody? Am I cussing somebody? Right? It's a good chance to be honest over here, and then we capture our thoughts over here. And this is for ourselves, right? That's why I'm saying that it is whatever thoughts that come to our mind, we capture over here. What do I do about the relationships? Do I present gifts, or do I celebrate? Do I forget um, any events? What do I do? Or do I avoid that thing? Right? And how do I feel? So over here, we capture emotions. You may go to Google and look for the common emotions that are felt by a human being on a daily basis. And from that, pick the emotions that I feel. So over here, we'll capture emotions. We can also capture that in form of smileys to make it easier, right? And that's how we'll create an empathy map. So this goes for building relationships or for understanding relationships with ourselves, right? So this is the first one. And for others, we do a similar activity from our perspective. We will be able to develop or create a good visual empathy map for others only when we know them better. Otherwise, it will all be perception or assumption, which is again good, because when you do that activity and when you want to build a good relationship with that person, you do this thing and you share this empathy map with them, saying that this is what my assumptions and perceptions are about you. Tell me how much is true, how much is wrong, and try to be open-minded to kind of get know on certain things, which means that we are getting clarity in terms of are we right in terms of understanding that person or not. Okay, and when we get the clarity, we build a better or good relationship with that person. It works great when we are working in a team. I have done this in my team couple of times when we were starting on certain projects. And for that particular project, if it required certain skills, I would have the team create an empathy map for those skill sets or any challenges that might come up in that project. And then we'll get clarity on how we work as a team to understand each other better. Because when working as a team, when we know each other better, we are able to work in an amazing way, and that also creates a good psychologically safe space. So this was about empathy map for relationships. I'll just open the floor for any questions.
So, Kumar, you said that we can create the empathy map for us,
Mhm.
for self also, and with someone else
Yes,
also, right?
yes,
So, so I think when we create for self, I think that's the best way of understanding yourself also, like what comes to your brain and you just put it on a paper.
yes.
So I think things will be more clearer, right?
Yeah.
Mm. And what I'm asking is, like, when you said that you can use it for the teams also to understand the skill set or what are the requirements. So that time also, how empathy map will work? Like, what are
Okay.
like, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So when we are working in a team, let's say we have got a team of four, right? Let's, for the simplicity, call them A, B, C, D. So A creates empathy map for B, C, and D. And similarly, B creates for A, C, D, right? And same thing goes for C and D. And once that is done, they share all of the empathy map that is created. Let's say whatever that is created for C by A, B, and D, it is given to C. And that's how they go through it. And they kind of say that, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. this is incorrect. And that's how we bring clarity in terms of how well does the other person knows this person, right? And then we give it back to them. So this one goes over here, this one goes over here, and this one goes over here. So from this, actually, it shows that D is, so let's say this has come from D, right? It shows that D and C can work well together because D is able to understand C very well. Now, we also need to see what C has created for D, right? And then given back to D. And that's how we kind of start understanding. And once this is done, kind of when C says that, okay, these are the things which are correct, and we come up with a final empathy map for, let's say, C, it is circulated or everybody sees that, and then they get to know C in much more better way, right? So in first level or first stage of the exercise, it is more about understanding what are the perception or assumptions that we have for other person. It also,
Okay.
a lot of time what happens is when we start working in the project, we quickly start on the project and we start assuming things for the other person, and when things don't go as per our expectation, we assume things and we start making judgments or decision about the other person without actually knowing what they might be going through. So this is a good
Hmm.
exercise to understand the same thing from other person's perspective, right? It is also really helpful in conflict resolution. So if you are facing any conflict with your team member, with your manager, or with your subordinate, it is good to create an empathy map first, which recalibrates your thinking from that person's point of view. And then you might change your decision or your judgment about that person.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
so much.
just
This is really
want to add one more thing, Kumar. Uh, I have used empathy maps for, so let us say, thinking about the culture of the organization, or I mean, as a organization, as a brand. So or even for that matter, project a team is working on. So how the team sees this project, or how the team or employees see this organization. So when they talk about it, uh, lot of values can be driven, organizational values can be driven from these empathy maps. How my employees are seeing my organization, are we on in the sync or not? It helps a lot. And in fact, it can be done at the family level also.
Yeah. I, to be honest, I tried with my family. None were ready. But at least when I do that, I, I have realized that I am not passing judgments or I am not making judgments about certain actions or behaviors of folks in my family. So that has toned down or that has reduced a lot of conflict that otherwise can happen just because of some trivial reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. So just in interest of time, we'll move on to the next section, which is typography. Thanks, Ankur, for the question, and Kanupriya for reference on how you use that. I'll just see that you create one empathy map for yourself today. Um, it does not take, don't take more than 5 minutes. Just create and feel for yourself how the kind of difference that it makes. I've read a book by Peter Drucker, who is called as a managing guru, a management guru. And as part of HBR Classics or Harvard Business Review, he has written a book or he has written an article called Managing Yourself. Management always starts with managing yourself first. And the first thing that he talks about in managing yourself is self-awareness. And how do we get self-awareness? Is empathy map. Okay, so I have given a good reference for and a motivation for you to get started. Cool.
that's true.
let's get started with another topic, which is typography or practicing typography in a different way. So what we'll do is, as part of graphic design exercise or graphic design learning, one of the things that I've seen is that we were made to create letters. Let's say these letters have got a skeleton line to use different objects that we see or that we use day in, day out, and use those objects to create these letters. Okay, so can be okay, clock. So these are the different objects that I see around me. This typography experiments talk about how can we use these objects to make these letters. So to make it simple, what we'll do is we'll use pencil as the object and try to write our name using this pencil. And we have flexibility to change the shape of the pencil. So let's say for C, the pencil can become like this, right? But retain the basic construct or structure of the object same. So it looks like a pencil, right? So this is the exercise for the typography experiment that we are going to do today. I'll show you by writing my name using pencil, and then you can practice writing your name again using pencil. And feel free to use orientation in a different way, because that's what will bring variety. Okay, now over to all of you. You can start practicing. And when you do this, you may discover that you have created a new font style or a new font face. Once you have done, I encourage all of you to practice this and share whatever that you've created in the group. A lot many times I have seen that while you might have practiced it, you don't share it in the group. It is always helpful to share it out. One, to overcome fear, and another one is to inspire others who might be in the same boat. And once you take that step, which is a courageous step in itself, because you are overcoming that fear of judgment, but at the same time, you are also standing up as a role model for others to get inspired and share it out. By the way, this object is nothing but this handheld fan that I have on my desk. So I will use that to create this new font family style.